Hello, everyone. It's Catherine. It's the 13th of February. It's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day in the UK here today. But it's been a bit of a sad week for me because we had to have one of our lovely guinea pigs, Molly, put down this morning. With guinea pigs, they can go downhill quite quickly. We're not sure how old she was because we rehomed her from a rescue organisation, so we didn't really know how old her and her sister Meg were when we got her. But she was very, very happy up until the last 24 hours. But I've had guinea pigs a long while now, and when I took her to the vets this morning, I realised that it wasn't going to be the kindest thing to keep her going. And I think, there's so many people going through so much at the moment, but what I wanted to start off today with is it's so important we cherish what we've got when we've got it. Life is short. Many of us have beliefs about how many times we might be coming back here or not, as the case may be. And of course, I know very strongly that we'll be connecting with our loved ones wherever we happen to go once we leave this physical human body that we're sitting in at the moment. But it's so easy not to appreciate the loved ones in your life. How often do we take things for granted? I've seen a lot over the last, however long really, of a lot of frustrations for people, and I completely get it. I completely get that everyone needs an outlet to say what they want to say, because not everyone's got friends or family members that they can share things with. But the more I go, the older I get, the wiser I get, the more I do my self-work, the more I realize things are really, really simple. And the saying, which winds a lot of people up, but be kind, is just relevant to everything. And if you take that on board, if you really integrate that into your thoughts, your actions, then the world would be a better place for all of us. And I know it's very easy to say that how others react is a reflection of what's going on for them, but equally, there are a lot of actions that can be done that accentuate that behaviour. And one of the things that I have also been looking into a lot for years and years and years now is human behaviour and animal behaviour. And when we have an awareness of what makes us behave, feel, act, the habits we can break, the habits we can't break, awareness is really crucial to empowering ourselves to making change. And similarly, when we're looking at the beauty array of nature, I'm looking out over my camera here, and there's so many birds on my tree or on my bird feeder, and I can see some of the cats. I can see a couple of pheasants. I've just put the dogs away. If you look at my Instagram page, you'll see some beautiful pictures of my horses and the rabbits and Molly and her sister Meg and brother Dylan, the guinea pigs. But there's beauty all around us if we choose to see it. And yes, there are also challenges all around us, but it's how we handle those challenges, how we react to them. What are we doing in our daily lives to build resilience, and what choices are we making right here, right now, to actually make the best out of whatever our situation is at the moment? What are our aspirations? What are our dreams? I've just finished a really lovely interview with my friend Danielle Matthews, who is an expert in post-traumatic growth. And there's so many important things that Danielle shared in that episode, which will be going up next week, which I think can really help all of us. And had a lovely chat with my other friend, Namala, who is an expert in sacred geometry last week. And we were talking about what does the new earth look like? What are these energies? What does that mean to us all as individuals? And she finished that off with a beautiful meditation. So I'm very much at a stage at the moment where I'm recognizing a lot. And, most people on my channel have got, certain opinions about interventions and things like that. And how you say, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that is really continuing for me. Over the last 6 months, I've been looking at a lot of what I'm doing. I've been conscious of what I've been listening to, because we all know when we look at the influences, if we look at the principles of Vedic medicine, what we put into our bodies isn't just what we choose to eat and drink, it's also what we breathe, it's the information we consume, it's the energy we surround ourselves with, it's are we connected to the earth, it's everything. And food and water is just one part of that. And so I've been really conscious of what am I listening to and how does it affect my mood? And it, honestly, I have to laugh at myself because it does affect my mood so much. And what I've realized for a person is I do not want to be in an echo chamber. I know people have said this before, but it's so easy to switch one form of drama that we might have watched before in reality TV or on the news or in certain films and switch it for YouTube or other media. There's so much. Everyone's intentions are good and we've all got different rules to take. Well, I'll take that back. Not everyone's intentions are good, but a lot of people's intentions are good. But if we're spreading gossip and fear about people that we don't know and who's a man and who's a woman and what have they been up to and what they haven't, it's a fine line, isn't it? About how much, we all know that energy flows where your attention goes. And if that's what we're putting our attention on, is that what we're attracting more of? Personally, I'm so over that. I really am so over that. And I do agree that it's a learning process in terms of how we learn. So, for example, learning enough, listening to enough, reading enough, researching enough, whatever form that takes for you as an individual, enough so that you can make informed decisions to live the best life that you can for yourself and anyone who's under your care, whether you've got children, whether you've got animals, whether you're looking after elderly relatives, whatever it might be. So there's never a right or wrong, is there? There is no clear line over where we pass. But I think it's a question I've been asking myself a lot. And I'd really love to know if you've been asking yourself a lot. How do people make you feel? And, any form of hero worshipping, any form of someone waiting to come and rescue, any form of idolization of certain people you're reading about, looking at, listening to. For me, there's a huge difference between appreciation and idolization, and hanging on someone's every word and just assuming that's because someone said it, it must be true, is pretty dangerous, in my opinion. And I'm going to be talking to Katie Thiel, who's a survivor of the NXIVM cult. She's been on Bryce's show and we've been in contact, but amazing lady. She's got a brilliant book out. I'll put the link below. So doing some research for that, I was watching Seduced, one of the series, which is about the NXIVM cult, and Olivia, forgotten her surname, the famous actress Catherine's daughter, who was caught up in the cult. And it's absolutely brilliant listening to the people who have actually been into a cult and the experiences and seeing how cleverly planned this mind control was to get them in there. And most people who watch my channel, and seriously, I'm so grateful for you all, because I feel like you're the most evolved humans that we can bounce these ideas off each other at the moment. And I'm so appreciative of that. I'm so appreciative for how supportive you all are, not only to myself, but most importantly to each other in the comments. I was constantly seeing people support each other in the comments. It's so beautiful to see. But when you look at how these cults are, and we've all looked at, with what's gone on over the last few years and how people have opened their eyes up to how much we've been brainwashed to control with the mass formation psychosis, with all forms of subtle and less subtle mind control, with the mainstream media. I'll have to be careful how many times I'm saying all this. And then when you listen to the experiences of people that have been in what we would define as a cult, I'll tell you what, it's a fine line. It's a really, really fine line, in my opinion. And having watched this series and been doing quite a lot of research on this over the last couple of weeks, but it's something that I've done a lot of psychology in the past and something I've been fascinated of because my speciality is animal behavior. We are just another form of animal. So studying human behavior is part and parcel of my animal behavior studies, and very importantly, how we all interact. And it's so fascinating to see how manipulatable people are, humans are. It's absolutely fascinating to me. And of course, when I'm saying all this, I'm not excluding myself from this. You know, please don't ever think that I'm not including myself in what I'm talking about, because I am. But when you're aware of it, you can keep asking questions. So I know this is probably a bit of a ramble, but I think it's really, really important at the moment, because on a personal level, I was listening to a brilliant interview by Zach Bush. I love Zach Bush. And he was talking about how some of the ancient Aboriginals stopped breeding back in, I think it was 2012, because their prophecies showed and they could pick up the energy of where we were going as a planet and a human race. And they decided that their cycle of reproducing would end, so they don't bring more people in to go through that. Now, I know that can sound quite pessimistic and, you know, extreme, but I honestly am not seeing things happen fast enough in terms of individual accountability and us stepping out of victim mindset and going through the healing process, but not staying there, coming out stronger, more evolved humans with more resilience on the other side. And how we're passing on with each interaction we're doing. Are we passing on resilience, or are we passing on gossipy, low vibrational energy? It's an interesting one. I'd love your thoughts on that, and where you sit on that, and what you're finding is helping you, and how easily you're finding it to recognize which behaviors or what scale of behaviors you're in. But I think it's really, really important at the moment, because we cannot solve problems from the same reality or the same energy they were created at. And if they go into this tit for tat and sort of shaming, really, a lot of the people that people talk about, they do not know personally. I'm not talking about government policy. I'm not talking about the World Health Organization. I'm not talking about Davos and the decisions some of these global idiots are making on behalf. I'm not talking about that, because that's policies that are often out in the public forum. And again, when you know what you know, and that I'm learning more every minute of every day. So my goodness, I'm sure if I was having this conversation in a week's time, I'd be at a completely different level of awareness, hopefully. But when we're bringing it down to an individual level, if we don't actually know, I wonder, are we actually moving things forward, or are we keeping it back into the vibration of what I like to call the evil ones? So it's just a question. I haven't got the answer. I'm just putting that question out there. But certainly that's where I've been pondering, and why probably I've been a bit quieter on my channel recently. Also, because winter in the UK is a time when looking after my animals, which are my absolute top priority, takes a lot more time. And I've really been embracing, over the last few years, I've lost quite a few animals through old age, and I've got quite a few old animals still. So I'm very conscious that they are my priority. You know, first and foremost, my animals, my family are priority, and all of my work goes to providing more and better things for them, better enclosures, better food, more time, more company, heat, a lot of heat in the winter, a lot of my animals need. And I absolutely love it. It's when I feel most on purpose. So please do take a look at some of my Instagram pages if you want to see more of my animals. Let me know on this channel, would you like to see more of my animals or not? Because I really do believe they have so much to teach us. And I don't think there's a single person listening to this that doesn't realize just how important it is to get up and go outside in nature. It can literally snap you out of a really low mood. It can literally recharge your body. It literally is recharging your body from the earth, particularly if you can take your shoes off and stand there for a bit. Get out into real nature and breathe deeply. You know, the woods or the beach, two of the most healing environments any of us can be in there to get our whole microbiome back in balance and to feel that connection. So all of us can do that in some way. When I had my lovely chat with Jeffrey Bodie on plant-based whole foods, I loved the connection that he'd got since he'd started going on a plant-based diet. which is right for him. I love the connection that he's got with his food, the passion. It's just really beautiful to see. So if you haven't watched that interview, please do, because I thought Jeffrey was amazing and brought out some really important points in that. Not trying to convince anyone to go plant-based, that wasn't the point. So listen and let me know what you think. What else have I got in my notes I wanted to talk about? Possibility, being open to possibilities. I absolutely love it when I hear what each and every one of you are doing on an individual level for yourselves and for your loved ones or for your communities. And what I love about this is there is no thing of what's too big or too small. Every little contribution helps. So being open to the possibilities and really going with what you've got to offer. You know, we've all got completely different strengths, gifts, etc. And we need all of those to make balance. You know, no one person is more important than anyone else. And I do really completely believe that. When I look at my little community where I live, it's the people that society would have been a little bit more derogatory towards in terms of what their look of success is. Quite frankly, they're the ones that are the most happiest, the happiest and the most well balanced and the most at ease with themselves and with their lives. It's beautiful to see. So I think I'm preaching to the converted when I say our modern definition of what success might look like is so skewed with. And I suppose what's been quite upsetting to me is to see how that's repeating on, you know, sort of the YouTube community. I'm just seeing a lot of behaviors that I thought we were moving past sort of coming to the front again. And I'm curious, I'm really curious, what is it about our human nature that makes that cycle so difficult to break? I mean, it's like if you've got a really good leader, whether it's a dog or a human, that leader doesn't need to tell anyone they're a good leader. They emit it with their energy, with their actions, with the way they show up in life. So for me, a big red flag is anytime anyone's telling you how important they are, how good their information is, you know, what a leader it is, how much they've gone viral, etc. It's a big red flag to me. Might not be to you. You know, I'm just sharing what's been going through my mind recently and why I've sort of taken a little bit of a break from things to really think about, okay, where do I want to be putting my energy and what do I want to be sharing? And I've got over the next few weeks, I'm out and about quite a lot with my animal therapy work, where I go out and I use a range of my holistic therapies to work person to person with horses, with dogs, with cats. Over the next few weeks, it's predominantly horses, actually. And, you know, that's so important because it really brings you into the right here, right now. If you're working with animals as a therapist of whatever modality that is, and I use the communication, the herbal medicine, the light therapy, the iridology, looking at their environment, looking at what toxins are going into the whole picture. It's really, really good for me to just keep me really grounded and about, okay, what's really going on and what's really, really important. Because I think one of the biggest distinguishing factors between us humans and other species is how much time we spend in our headspace. And of course, it's really important to think through things, but it's not the be all and end all. And as we all know, a lot of that, you know, the emphasis on our thinking intellectual minds has very much taken over our emotional intelligence, our spiritual intelligence. And I think anyone who's watching this channel is very much working hard on themselves to put that balance back in place, because it's absolutely crucial if we're going to live fulfilled, happy lives and be useful contributors rather than destroyers of the planet. And I'm not talking about global warming there. So I've got some great guests coming up. If any of you haven't seen my interview on Rumble or BitChute with John O'Looney and Matt Letizia, I would really encourage that. I think passion from both of those really comes out. And this is what I love, is that everyone's got a little bit of the jigsaw puzzle. So they're really worth looking at. This week, I have got a live tomorrow with Mark Atwood, a little Valentine's Day live with Mark. Who knows what will come up? Come and join us, ask your questions, interact. We love the live interactions. Later on in the week, I think on Thursday, I'm going to be going live with Alpa Soni on her platform. I recorded with Danielle today on post-traumatic growth, which I think you're going to find really, really useful. I certainly did. And then I will be back with Bryce for our coffee chat. We had to put that off last week because there was a bomb scare in Atlanta. I have also got Ishmael and Huna Flash coming up for another live at the end of next week. Next week, I will be putting some pre-recorded stuff up on my channel because I'm taking a very well-earned break with my daughter, just so I can rebalance, quieten, have some space away to quieten my mind so I can really think about what next, what's calling me next. And sometimes, when I love where I live and I love looking after all the animals, but sometimes it's good just to have a little bit of quiet space so you can really sort of focus and go within on a deeper level. So I'm excited about that. I'm really sorry I'm behind with my Vex King book club. I love the Vex King book. So I promise I will have more episodes of that up by the end of the week. And I'm really, really, really loving getting back to my roots of using natural, holistic products and therapies to help people, because that's my speciality. My speciality is really understanding how the mind, body, spirit all works together for overall health and wellness and thriving of whatever species you are. And that's why I love pairing up with companies have got the same ethos for me. And I'm a strong believer, and I've been doing this holistic work for a long while now, to know that innately our bodies and those of our animals are absolutely brilliant at thriving and bringing ourselves back into balance if we put the right inputs in there and perhaps remove some of the things that are no longer serving us, whether it's toxic heavy metals, whether it's emotional baggage or whatever. So, that's my sort of gift to the world in terms of what I know I'm really good at, because I know the results speak for themselves. So when I'm sharing things, I only honestly share things that I'm really, really passionate about. So I really hope everyone's doing really, really well here. I've been spending a lot of time out in nature. My lifestyle dictates that, and I've set that up as a deliberate thing because it's something personally I really, really need and crave. Yeah, that's been really, really good. But I've also been making a bit more time for friends and loved ones, because I've also realized that life is too short. I think there's probably not one of us watching this that hasn't lost someone near and dear to us over the last couple of years. And it's too late once they're gone. As we hear, it's no good waiting for someone's funeral to tell them what you loved about them. Showing up and being a good friend, whether that's to a family member, other friends, whether it's community, is so, so important, because if we don't do that, what is the point? That's where I'm at. And then the other thing that I do a lot of, that some people like and some people don't, is don't be afraid to have those difficult conversations. There's nothing worse than leaving something unsaid. It just eats away at you. If you try and suppress and bury these feelings, and so many times we can make up these stories in our head, and it's, in my opinion, it's so much better to, with compassion, get those things out of the table, because otherwise one side of the argument is always going to be eating away at it. And often there's so many stories we make up in our head about what the other person might be thinking, doing, etc., that might or might not be true. So really, what's the worst that can happen is that finds out they are true. Well, your head's telling you that it's true, even if it's not anyway. So I think a time for opening up honest conversations and really listening to what comes back at you, for me, is really, really important at this time. Let me know what you think, and let me know what's been working for you. So as usual, I'll finish it off here. I don't want to ramble on for too long. All my links are below. There's a new link tree that has been put together by Andrea. Thank you, Andrea and Lois, which has got all my links in one place. We're constantly updating that. But very importantly, please, please, please sign up to my newsletter, because there's so many things that I get asked about that I cannot even answer in comments on YouTube. So my email address is always there. I might not get back straight away, but I will always get back as soon as I can. If it's a thing that it's not going to trigger the algorithms, always please leave a comment if it's there. If it's something that needs to be dealt with on a more personal level, please feel free to email me or message me on one of the platforms that you can. And I think that's it. Please do sign up. I've got some really, really, really lovely guests planned for a little while in the future, because some of these people take quite a long while to book in advance. But certainly they're things that I know are going to help me a lot on a personal level. And by doing that, I really, really hope that they're going to resonate and help you as well. So thanks for sticking with me by this. You have no idea how much it means. I really appreciate feedback back. If you've got people that you want to suggest for the channel, subject matters, individuals, please, please, please feel free to send me a link with their details. That's really helpful. I want to, I only want to be doing this if it's helpful and if people are finding it helpful and useful. So don't be shy about telling me. And thank you so much. Have a brilliant day, and I enjoy the rest of the shows that I've got coming up this week. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And if you feel inspired, please do share with your friends and family. My goal is to inspire as many people as I can to live their best lives, to stay curious, and to raise their consciousness and that of the collective. So to do this, I need to reach as many people as possible, and this needs your help. If you feel drawn, would you be willing to share your favourite episode with 5 different people? This helps us spread the word and also helps me encourage some exciting new guests to take part in this podcast. If you feel drawn to do that, I will be very, very grateful. All the links and discount codes where applicable for all the products that I support are on my 2 websites, catherineedwards.life and catherineedwardsacademy.com. All of the products are personally tried and tested by me, my family, and my clients. And finally, please do press the follow or subscribe button, depending which platform you're listening on. And above all, stay curious and stay free.